Hi friends, good morning. And now we will see what is predicate functional interface and what is consumer functional interface. So these are the two, there are plenty of inbuilt functional interfaces are available. So now in this session we will be seeing these two functional interfaces. So first let me talk about predicate functional interface. I have already written a code and then I have kept it open here. So I'll just walk you through the code and then I'll explain you each and every line of the code that I wrote it so that you will be able to understand the purpose of predicate and how predicate works, how to write a lambda expressions for predicate and how in the real-time scenario on real-time use cases the predicates are used. So we will see all of these things in the video now. Yeah. So we will start with predicate. So when you see this example here, I have already created a list of string which contains 1, 2, 3 and the space here. So predicate mainly is used for checking the conditions. When I say checking condition in the sense, I have an object, I wanted to check certain conditions like okay, the object or assume that I have an employee name. I wanted to pick employee name starts with yes, employee name ends with E, employee name ends with I. It can be anything like that, right? I mean, or even I wanted to retrieve a list of numbers based on certain conditions. So all these certain conditions I have, we can return a boolean like a true or false. I wanted to filter out an element in a list, filter out set of elements from a list. So all these things for all such kind of an requirement, right? We can use a predicate there. So probably when you see this list, right, this list contains an empty string as well, right? After one, you could see this empty string, and after two, you can see the tree and then an empty string. So assume that I have a requirement here to filter out my empty string. So what I can do, I can write a lambda expression like this. So hope you all very well aware of lambda expressions like. So the first, whatever things that we write it before the arrow mark is called the argument. Whatever that I write after my arrow mark is called the body of the function. Nothing but the definition here. So when you see the definition here, I have written it like string is not empty, which means whatever input string that you give to me as a to my function, the function ensures that it's not an empty. The string that you pass is not an empty, the input string, and then it will tell you whether it is true or false. So that is called predicate here. So the entire lambda expression value is stored here in a predicate variable like this. So when you open and then you can call a function here. So I have again written a function here to filter out that list. When I say filter out that list, is nothing but you will just pass that list, original list that you wanted to filter out, and then you will be passing the predicate. The predicate, whatever lambda expression that you have written it here, and then those are stored here in the predicate variable. Those two things you will be passing it to the list here, and we are iterating over the list, and then we are calling a method called test that is present for the predicate. So we will be calling predicate expression dot test, and then we will be passing the string. So this will tell me whether the passed string satisfied the condition or not. If it satisfies the condition, the particular string will get added to the list. So likewise, it will happen for the list of strings that we pass, and then it will be able to filter out the list, filter out the strings in the list, and then it will give you a new list. So when you see the case one, right, this is nothing but the removal of empty string from the original list. Similarly, if I have another requirement, assume that we have a requirement like to filter out a particular, pick an particular string which ends with a particular substring. Such cases here you can see one test, two test. I wanted to filter out all those strings whichever is ending with test. Then we can use predicate there. So I will be writing a lambda expression, taking the string as input, and then it will check whether it is ending with test or not. This will be my predicate expression here, and then again I have to I can pass the same predicate expression to my filter list, which I already have written it here. And again, when you run this code, you can easily see these strings that are with test as a keyword, test as a substring, the string, those things are get filtered out, and then you will be able to see the result. I'm just executing the code now. Yeah, so now we are able to see the results, right? So now we are able to see the first output, we are able to filter out the list, those things that are empty, and in the second list you can see only we are able to print out the elements in the list whichever is ending with test. Yeah. So this is all about predicate, and when you see the method that we wrote it here, this can even be made generic so that the same list can be used by all different predicates that you pass, that you have according to your requirement in your project. So when you see here, I'm just changing all the strings to the normal type. So once I do this, yeah. So now you can see I have replaced all the string, the keyword string with the type T, which means now this method we made it as more generic in such a way that it can be reused for other data types as well. So when I say other data types, right now we are having a list of string, and then we are passing that list of string to this filter list. In case if you have a predicate example, I will write a case 3 here, which will give you more understanding. I have a list of integer. Assume that I have int list arrays dot as list, and I'm passing the integer here like 23, 25, 26, 33, 44. Okay, and we have a requirement like, okay, as this are the list of integer, we have to write a predicate expression. Assume that I have a requirement like to filter out the even numbers from the list. I have a requirement like that, then what I can do, I can write my lambda expression in such a way that I mod 2 equal to 0. That's it. This will be the lambda expression. This will be my predicate expression. When you see this, right, I have written a condition here saying that take the element, take the integer, see whether it is divisible by 2 or not, and then it will return me the boolean. So again, when you say predicate, it's all about taking the object, giving you the boolean back. So I can pass the same string, same existing list. Sorry, it's not a string. I can pass the same list. I can pass that is the original list, and I can pass the predicate expression here. And again, this gives me another new list of integers. Can put it like result, right? Then I will be able to print my result. That's it. So I have a list here, and I have a predicate here, and I am passing that predicate in a second. It's a typo error here. The method name is filter list. It's not filtered list. That's it. So when you run the applications now, you will be able to see a new list only with even numbers. Yes. Hope you all guys have understood the concept about predicate. So now we will see how the consumer works. Again, I have already created an example on my machine here. I'll just take you through the code. You can easily understand the concept. This is quite similar to predicate. So the only difference between the predicate and the consumer here is it takes the input argument and it gives you nothing. Whereas the predicate is the same, whereas it takes you the input argument and gives back you the boolean. So when I say it gives back you nothing, assume that you wanted to print certain things on the console. So here when you see in this example, I have a list here and I have also written the consumer here. So again written a lambda expression here which will take the element and then just prints the element here. So that's when I just have to call consumer.accept. So accept is a method that is present inside my consumer interface. I just have to pass the data here which needs to be printed. Data in the sense the element here that needs to be printed. Similarly, I can even write a list that how we have written it in our last example for a predicate. Write a method called print list which takes list as an argument and another consumer as another argument, and then we can even make this list as generic so that you can even pass a list of integer, list of string, or even other another different types of list to the same method, to the same generic method, which will help us in just printing the elements. Hope you all guys would have understood the concepts here, how predicate works, how consumer works. A small recap here. So this is how we have started. We have just shown you the examples like they have created a list of string here, and we in the first cases I have shown you how to filter out the empty elements from the list, and in the second cases I have shown you how to filter out the string substring from the given string. If I have an so and so requirement, we can be using predicate there. And similarly, we have also shown you the case 3, like if I wanted to filter out an even numbers from my list, we can use even a predicate there. Similarly, when you see my consumer, if I do not wanted to test my condition, I just wanted to, consumer is mainly used when I have, when you pass the input and it doesn't give you back anything. In such cases, you can use consumer, and in the other cases, you can use predicate. Thanks for watching. Hope I have explained the concepts clearly. Yeah. Thanks for watching.